Today is the 4th of July, and you know what that means. 245 years ago, America declared its independence, baby. We decided to stop being England's lapdog and fuck back. If you're a red-blooded American like me, then you gotta ask yourself one question. There are video games that embody American patriotism? Well, I happen to have found some, and we're gonna play them, and we're gonna see if our freedom will intensify. Alright. So the first game on our list is President-Elect on the Commodore 64. Now, I don't actually own a Commodore 64, but I do have the next best thing. The Commodore 64 Mini. Yes sirree, back before game console minis became a thing, the Commodore 64 Mini was released in December of 2004. This is the second version, released in 2018. What's interesting about this mini console is that you can add and remove games via USB. This is how we're going to play President. After all, what's more patriotic than a presidential election? But we do have an issue though. I've only got one TV. That's that one right there. So I need to get back there and hook up my Commodore 64 Mini somehow. How hard can it be? Okay, after all that hassle, let's play some President-Elect. I had the darn thing backwards. Ah, finally. So, in President-Elect, you choose which candidates will run for the presidency for the Republican and Democrat sides. You can enter the names of actual politicians that were around up to 1984, or make your own. Whichever party's candidate you choose, he has to campaign for the next 2 months, starting Labor Day and ending November 2nd, which is Election Day. All throughout the campaign, you're given a map that shows which states are Republican and which ones are Democrat. Republicans are blue and Democrats are red. Isn't it supposed to be the other way around? Anyway, the striped states are states where a majority winner isn't chosen, but they are leaning towards the party of the indicated candidate color, if that makes sense. You're given decisions to make, such as taking foreign trips, debate your political opponent, and decisions on how much money you want to spend campaigning in a particular state. You're also sporadically shown which candidate is in the lead. When debates take place, a question is presented to the candidate and you're given a list of choices to answer with. Sometimes, if a candidate chooses unwisely, they commit a blunder and it lowers your points. This candidate committed a blunder while in a debate. I can't help but to laugh at the accuracy. At the end of the debates, the game chooses which candidate looked the strongest. When election day comes along, you're given the results of who's winning where and who's winning the actual election. Okay, so by today's standards, it's more than apparent that this game simply isn't up to par. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it was bad. Keep in mind, it came out in 1984. If you were into this sort of thing, I honestly could see you having fun playing a game like this. Next up on our list is another presidential game entitled Campaign 84 for the ColecoVision. While President-elect took itself very seriously, Campaign 84 is the exact opposite, giving you absurd issues to choose from, such as outlawing pink cars and making oysters the national food. Now, I happen to love oysters, so I'd be okay with something like that. Other choices include ban shoes with laces, prohibit plaid socks, and ban saccharin? What the heck is saccharin? I have to look that up. Oh, it's an artificial sweetener. Well, that stuff is supposed to be bad for you, right? I could see why they'd want that banned. In any case, I don't know what to make of the screen, so I just move the controller around until something happens. Eventually, as the votes start pouring in, you see them being processed ever so slowly. Alright, screw the game, let's play something else. How about North and South on the NES? So this game is based on the American Civil War, which I must say, as an American history buff, is my absolute favorite era to read up on. In the beginning, you choose what side you want to play for, either for the Union or the Confederacy. Once you've chosen everything, the game starts. It resembles a strategic RPG because you move your characters around the country. When opposing characters meet, that's when the war begins. Battles take place in grassy areas or near water bridges. You control a guy loading up a cannon, foot soldiers, and soldiers riding horses. The icon on the top left shows you which characters you're controlling. Sometimes banks are robbed and your goods will be plundered, or the other way around. When you enter your enemy's territory and win, you then control a single soldier making his way around the fort. You have to reach the end of the fort, bring down the enemy's flag, and raise your own. There's a lot of obstacles in the way, but once you make it to the end, it's all worth it. The same thing can happen to you though, as enemies can invade your fort and try to take it over. If you lose, you're scolded by the general, whom I'm assuming is the soon-to-be 18th President of the United States, Ulysses Simpson Grant. If you win, however, he praises you. Overall, this is a pretty short game, so it doesn't really give me much to talk about. Let's move on. We've played games where we elect presidents. How about a game where you are the president, and you pilot a mech suit, and you blast your enemies away, all the while shoving our patriotism down their throats? Let's play Metal Wolf Chaos XD! Yeah! If you want to talk about a video game that embodies American patriotism, it's right here. Metal Wolf Chaos XD. Released exclusively for the original Xbox in Japan, the game received a remastering and was brought to next-gen consoles in 2019. The game I'm playing is a digital copy for the Xbox One. You play as Michael Wilson, the 47th President of the United States and a direct descendant of the 28th President of the United States, Woodrow Wilson. Freedom is dead in America, and a military coup is trying to overthrow the American government. Surprisingly, the leader of this coup is the Vice President, Richard Hawk, who also happens to pilot his own mech suit. The dialogue is everything that you'd expect. Cheesy, sarcastic, American jokes galore. 'Cause I'm the president!
President of the great United States of America!
Great work, President. But you still have a delicious dessert coming.
Okay, let's party!
You get to visit various parts of the US, such as San Francisco, Alcatraz, the Grand Canyon, and Beverly Hills. Due to time constraints, I can't review this game in whole, so maybe I'll revisit it someday and give you a proper review. And now it's time for the main event, but we do have a problem. The game that I want to review is missing! I don't know where it is. I bought it months ago and I stashed it away somewhere and now I can't find it. So I tried to rush order another one, and I did, but I didn't read the fine print. I was assuming that I was buying another one off of eBay. Instead, I bought the digital copy. That's why you should read the fine print always, kids. Don't just click and be an idiot like me. In any case, the game is a PC game called Red, White, and Blue. It's known in the UK as Christian Founders 3D Adventure, an incredibly patriotic, flag-waving 3D adventure about the United States flag. Oh cool! We got Stars and Stripes Forever playing in the background. Lex Luger would be proud. So the game is all about American history. The flag, the music, historical figures. Once you choose what you want to study, the game begins.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You control Uncle Sam himself as he makes his way around the hall, answering all kinds of questions to advance through the different doors. The decor is something that my future home would probably look like. Sledge approves. You go around collecting American flags to power up. I swear this game is the game of my dreams. When you're answering questions, if you answer correctly, you get a round of applause. Answer incorrectly, and you hear a bomb explode and you lose health. Luckily, you can replenish your health with these hearts here. The game has questions like, how did the design for our 50-star flag come about? Well, according to the information given, it was designed by Robert G. Heft while he was in high school in 1958. Okay, I got it right. Sometimes, regular guys will stand there and quiz you with more American history. If you answer all the questions correctly, you convert them into American patriots. In certain areas, there are halls blocked by fire. If you answer all the questions in the hall correctly, you gain some sort of armor that shields you and lets you pass through these fire barriers. I'll admit that this game probably isn't for everyone, but if you want to learn more about American history, this game is for you. The creators of Red, White, and Blue also created a similar game, the interactive Bible 2 Peter. It's basically a game centered around the second book of Peter in the Bible. It's basically Red, White, and Blue, but in a different setting, and this time it's in first person. The decor is also different. Instead of American flags, you collect yellow crosses, or they could be PlayStation crosses. You answer questions from 2 Peter in the same manner as Red, White, and Blue. I really dig the music. It's so relaxing. This concludes the review. I sure hope you guys enjoyed it. I sure hope that your patriotic scale has soared to new heights. I sure hope that you have newfound love for the country that you live in. So before I go, I owe you guys a song. It is the 4th of July after all. So, here we go. Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony, stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni. Yankee Doodle, pick it up, Yankee Doodle dandy, mind the music and the step and with the girls be handy. How was that? Is that any good? It better have been good because I'm not singing it again.